In the heart of Rome, a young artist wanders the ancient streets, enveloped by the
enveloped by the
timeless
timeless
beauty of the
beauty of the
city.
city.
Despite living in Rome for years, she has never visited the Vatican, a place steeped in history and artistic genius. One morning, seeking inspiration and a sense of clarity, she decides it's time to finally visit the iconic Vatican City. As she enters St. Peter's Square, she is overwhelmed by the magnificence of the basilica, its vast dome towering above her like a sacred crown. The square buzzes with the quiet murmur of tourists and the distant tolling of bells, creating an atmosphere that feels simultaneously sacred and electric. Inside the cool, dim corridors of the Vatican, she roams the great halls, surrounded by treasures of the past. Every fresco, sculpture, and artifact whispers stories of ages gone by. She becomes lost in admiration, astonished by the genius of the artists who came centuries before her. Though she's deeply inspired, she also feels a nagging emptiness inside. Lately, her creative spirit has been dim. She has been struggling to paint, as though some essential part of her as an artist has gone missing. Her journey leads her to the Raphael Rooms, where her audio guide recounts the life and work of the legendary painter. She's particularly moved by the sight of Michelangelo's image, subtly painted into one of Raphael's frescoes. A tribute from one artist to another, it's a moment that makes her reflect on the power of art to transcend time and connect creative souls across generations. Soon, she finds herself at the doors of the Sistine Chapel. The chapel is crowded, and security guards politely hush the voices of awestruck visitors. She steps inside and tilts her head up, breathless at the sight of Michelangelo's masterpiece above her. The ceiling bursts with color, life, and movement, a celebration of human form and divine imagination. As she stares, she imagines herself transported 500 years into the past, picturing Michelangelo alone at night, high up on scaffolding, working by candlelight. Later that night, she lies in bed, reflecting on everything she saw. Though Rome outside hums with nightlife, distant music, murmuring voices, she feels strangely detached. She thinks back to her early days as a young artist, full of hope and ideas, and wonders how she became so stuck. She closes her eyes and drifts off to sleep, hoping that something, anything, might help her find her spark again. In her dream, she's back in Rome, but something is different. The streets are familiar, yet subtly changed. People wear clothing from centuries ago, and the air is filled with the clatter of horses and the scent of wood smoke and freshly baked bread. Somehow she realizes she has been transported to the Renaissance. With growing wonder, she makes her way to the Vatican, which looks both familiar and different, glowing in the moonlight. Drawn by instinct, she enters the Sistine Chapel once more. But this time, it's empty, silent, and alive. The paintings seem brighter, more vivid. At the center of it all, on a high scaffolding, stands a man, painting. Startled, she gasps, and the man notices her. A moment of silence passes before he speaks. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" She stammers an apology, explaining she was only admiring his work. The man climbs down, and as he approaches, she sees the wear and wisdom on his face. There's a quiet gentleness to him that immediately puts her at ease. She confesses her struggles as an artist, how she hasn't been able to paint in months, and feels utterly lost. The man listens intently, nodding with understanding. Then he tells her something that stays with her forever. Even when creativity feels absent, the act of creating, no matter how small, can reignite the fire. Everything starts with the drawing, he says. She asks for his name, and he smiles gently. "They call me Michelangelo." In that moment, The young artist is both amazed and humbled. She's speaking with one of the greatest minds in the history of art, and he's comforting her, encouraging her not to give up. They sit in silence for a while, sharing the quiet of the chapel and the glowing torchlight. Then Michelangelo tells her that art is like a flame. It can burn bright or flicker low, but it always has the potential to light the way. Just keep feeding the flame, he says. Before she leaves, he hands her a small piece of black chalk. Remember, he says, it all starts with the drawing. She accepts the chalk with gratitude, feeling as though she's just been given a sacred relic. As she walks back through the dreamlike streets of Renaissance Rome, every detail stands out in vivid beauty. The night air feels charged with meaning. She looks at the cobblestones, the flickering lamplight, the architecture, all with new eyes. The next morning, she wakes with a renewed sense of purpose. At first, she wonders if it was all just a dream, but then she turns to her nightstand and sees the piece of black chalk Michelangelo gave her. It's real. It really happened. She rises, energized, and walks to her easel. Holding the chalk, she whispers to herself, everything starts with the drawing. Then she begins to create. The chalk flows across the paper effortlessly, guided by newfound inspiration. That moment marks a new beginning for the young artist. With every line, she rekindles her passion, her confidence, and her joy in creating. She knows now that even when she feels lost, there is always a way forward, and she'll always carry with her the wisdom, the memory, and the chalk of the night she met Michelangelo.